Hello, Voltron fans. Welcome back to the AFTERBUZZ TV Voltron After Show. Today we're looking at Season 5, Episodes 5 and 6. We're going to talk about Space Mom, Space Eldorado, identity issues, and what the Galra Girl Squad does on their day off. And we have two fantastic guests with us, so stick with us after the opening. And team, it's time to form Voltron.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yep.
Darn it. I was outvoted. I wanted to start with the theme to Road to El Dorado.
In honor of our fallen comrade.
In honor of Funbot.
I'm still having a moment of silence for Funbots.
Well, that's going to be rough when you're on
the first 10 minutes of the show.
Well, that's going to be rough when you're on an audio podcast.
I'll understand.
It's important to stand in solidarity.
Yeah, it is. This is true. Hello, Voltron fans. Welcome back to the AFTERBUZZ TV Voltron After Show. We are doing the Season 5 finale today, so we're looking at Episode 5, Bloodlines, and Episode 6, White Lion. With me, I have Red Lion, Emma Fyffe.
I guess I'll break my silence.
You could just wait.
Great to be here. No, I'm respecting our audio listeners.
We can narrate it like Emma gives a solemn nod and acknowledges the audience.
Blue Lion, Alexis Torres.
Oh my God. You guys, hi. Like, I don't even know what to say. I'm so flustered.
Just I. Green Lion, Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, excited to talk about the season finale tonight.
And I'm Black Lion, Katie Cullen. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And with us, we have two wonderful people. We have voice of Shiro, Josh Keaton.
What up?
Woot woot. And we have voice of Allura, Kimberly Brooks.
Yeah! What up?
Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming in tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for letting us come.
This is 2 season finales in a row. I think
Is it really?
Yeah.
All
I think we're
right.
setting a tradition now.
It's our signature move. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Just come in for the finale.
That's right.
Come in at the end and finish it.
Yeah.
And we definitely had that from Allura this season. Holy cow.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah.
I know we're going to talk about these episodes, but I just want to reiterate for everybody that I've always really enjoyed Allura as a character. I think she's incredibly well written in this series, and I love how conflicted she is and flawed, but this season was just like elevated her to be in probably my top 10 favorite fictional female characters ever.
Wow.
Because
Heck yeah.
I related so much to her struggle of not being sure if she was doing the right thing as a leader and not knowing if she'd ever be able to live up to her father's greatness. It was just amazing all around.
True. Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I love it. It was like a lot, like you said, the writing for these last two episodes was unbelievable
For her.
for Laura.
I mean,
yeah.
across the board it was great.
Across
but
the board, but
it just,
for her storyline,
Yes.
and also Lotor. I thought there was some
oh, that Lotor.
I worry
Lotor.
about that, man.
Can we talk about what your thoughts are on the character development that we've gotten for Allura and Lotor throughout the season, and Shiro as well, because
Yeah.
Sure.
he and Allura tend to have differing views when it comes to when Lotor wants to do something. Sometimes Shiro's the one that sides with him, and sometimes Allura's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But they're hardly ever on the same page about it.
Well, maybe is Lotor doing that on purpose? Is he kind of?
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
I
Just saying.
mean, I don't know. I'm just saying he seems kind of cunning, that guy. So you never know. But
Yeah, he is.
yeah. Why don't you start with?
Oh,
dropping
Dropping the heavy lifting in my life.
There.
All right. What was the question?
About Lotor, just about how is Lotor
Shiro
fun?
and Lotor's dynamic.
Shiro
this
and Lotor's
season.
dynamic. Yeah, basically, I gotta be honest. Like, me watching it just as a fan, like, there were some times where, like, I see Shiro kind of in the background. Lotor's talking and Shiro's just here, almost like the guy with the Secret Service guy. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? But
With the
it
earpiece,
kind of creeps me out.
He's
Like,
observant. He's
yeah,
just
yeah,
checking
like
it out,
creeped me out to be watching that.
Yeah.
Okay,
But,
he's a baby monitor this
Yeah,
season.
there you go. There you go. Yeah, what was we were talking about character?
Yeah.
So I'm not all
just
here
talk
today.
about whatever.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm,
go.
I'm in the astral plane.
No, I
right
think
now.
it was kind of bringing up this idea that it seems like Allura and Shiro are rarely on the same page when it comes to
true.
Lotor.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Except at the end here.
Yeah.
Like, once Lotor ascends the throne, that's it, we're good, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it was interesting to see. I mean, obviously, there's still some question about who Shiro is.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's actually.
Well, he's the guy that helped get rid of Zarkon.
Sure. Sure.
Which has been his, like,
That is
#1
indisputable.
goal
He did do that.
since he's
You are
been there.
technically correct.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Like Zarkon?
The real Shiro.
Shiro.
I'm pretty sure the real Shiro has been dead since the arena.
I don't know. I feel like the fact that we saw Shiro in the weird Voltron headspace confirms that he is alive somewhere.
Either that, or he's the ghost in the machine.
Or he's just Sven.
Yeah, Sven is the real Shiro.
And the biggest plot
Shiro
twist
Prime.
ever.
Sven's the OG. I mean, come on. We gotta give it up for him.
I saw a tweet summing it up. That's Voltron fans. I hope Shiro's Voltron fans during season 1. I hope Shiro's okay in season 2. Voltron fans in season 2. I hope Shiro's okay in season 3. Voltron
Copy
fans
paste.
Voltron fans in season 5. I hope Shiro's okay.
Shiro's got a very, very difficult existence.
Yeah.
He really does.
Tell me about it.
But his heart's in the right place.
And the sun is slightly warm.
Well, and I also enjoyed too in the first of these 2 episodes. What was it called? Home something.
Bloodlines.
Bloodlines. Yep, that's the one.
Homelines.
It's called Homestuck.
Blood home.
Blood homes. Anyway, it's the one where they all go to like Lotor's his historical home.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is an episode of Cribs.
Yeah.
It kind of was. He had a robot butler scheduled to show them around.
This is my mom's walk-in closet.
I was waiting for the pool shot and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Voltron cribs.
Yeah.
The
Right.
thing that's
This
so-
is my planet juice machine.
However, for me, the thing that was so interesting is it's like once you do have Shiro and Allura being 100% on the same page about Lotor, Shiro literally does just like slink off into the background, and we really don't see him hardly at all in this episode. It's just him being like, well, okay,
I guess-
Lotor and Allura, go do your Altean research thing, and I'll
I mean, Zarkon's
hang
gone.
out.
He needs a break, man.
Yeah, he
I'll
did
give
his
that.
You're
part.
working hard.
Yeah.
Your magical royal space quest.
yeah.
That's basically what it wound up
I
being.
mean, it was. But I also, in the Magical Royal Space Quest episode, everybody got mad at Lance for talking and made Shiro take him away.
Can we?
That was hilarious.
Yeah. On the one hand, the
Lance.
build up to that scene was hysterical. Just the writing in it was very, very funny.
I think
But-
they're all dead.
What?
And can I say that all of that timing was actually done in the booth? I got to be
Nice.
in there while they did that scene, and everybody was just like
Oh,
on
so
fire
cool.
with that. Like none of that was really edited to. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they took a take from a second, but they did like 2 runs of it, and each one was hysterical. All the timing was perfect.
So, did you have to take Jeremy to a different booth for that scene?
I should have. Right? I should have done it for the method, but no. We all stayed in. We all stayed in and kept quiet.
Wow.
As funny as that was, though, did anybody else kind of feel a little bit unnerved when Lance and Shiro are alone together, talking about how he sort of seems like he's got a Secret Service earpiece in? I was genuinely concerned that if Lance had said the wrong thing, that he could have ended up being attacked in that moment.
I wasn't even
Shiro
waiting
would
for
do
that.
that
I thought
to
Shiro was just
Shiro
gonna do it.
wouldn't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
To Lance.
the Galra Empire would.
Shiro would.
Yeah.
This is true.
Controlled Shiro might
Yeah.
do it.
But it doesn't seem to me that it's the Galra Empire.
It's whoever.
So much as Hagar.
It's Haggar
Yeah.
specifically.
It's the Girl Squad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
Girl Squad.
that's in control of this Shiro. I mean, to what extent, unknown, but they can definitely see through his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
very
Like
unsettling.
I said, he's the baby monitor. And what really
He's
got
just
me
constantly FaceTiming. or periscoping.
Yeah,
that's it.
with
periscoping. all the
really
time.
bad audio. Did you hear the reverb in that?
It's kind of hard to sit there I'm not gonna get into it.
My magic has to
Psychological
work
things
with these
happening.
human brains, and it's just not working out.
A lot.
But yeah, that
The
scene.
Wi-Fi wasn't good.
Need the right adapter cables.
Yeah. But that scene talking with Lance and Shiro saying, I don't feel like myself, and Lance immediately going, oh, it's just the lack of oxygen, you'll be fine. Like, nobody wants to admit that Space Dad is not okay.
Right.
Because when the pillar of the team shakes, what happens to everyone else?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why Keith ran away. He's like, can't do
like,
it.
Can't look at it.
I'm going.
I'm a pillar
Can't
of fire.
handle it.
Yeah, I'm going
But I mean,
full-time ninja now.
People have been. I mean, Shiro's had a lot of these same issues and hang-ups since the very
Oh
beginning.
yeah,
for
100%.
sure.
And now
they're
everybody's finally
worse.
starting. Sure. But I mean, they're really just starting to see this.
Yeah.
I think maybe some of that's going with what you were saying. Who said about the pillar and the team and the yeah. I mean, they're finally starting to see it, and it's becoming more noticeable. So now everybody sees it even more. But I mean, a lot of that stuff's been there since the beginning. A lot of his struggles with PTSD and even with Sendak and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he's been through a lot.
I think that's why Shiro still lives in this space of we're not 100% sure what's up with him, which again, it just speaks to like the really good writing of the series. I was telling Lauren and Wakeem that in this season, I did not foresee Zarkon's death at all. That was a complete shock to me, and everything Lotor did this season was, I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
What are we watching?
What's happening?
What is this?
You
I
thought
know,
you knew
me
the guy.
Yep. Because again,
Did we though?
No, I really did. I felt like they had been setting up that we were going to have this really interesting conflict between father and son of this sort of totalitarian empire, squash everybody, subjugate everyone, and then Lotor, who rules more with charisma and convincing everybody that he's a great person and you should listen to him.
And a dazzling smile.
And,
Well, and that beautiful hair.
hair. Great
Yeah.
hair. Come on. Let's not forget
Come
the great hair. But then they killed Zarkon off, and now I'm in this place of, I don't know. I sort of trust Lotor, but I feel like I shouldn't.
I don't.
I'm really worried about him after the magical space royalty quest.
Right. Yeah.
Because he got so far, and they took the compass stone, like the giant statues took the compass stone.
Yeah.
There are no do-overs
Pretty
here.
sure you can't get that back.
Yeah, no, no.
It's an original, right? It's a one of a kind.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's gone now. And he stumbles at the finish line. He falls back on his Galra upbringing, which is something he's been trying really hard to be like, no, I'm going to
Separate
look into all
himself.
this Altean
Right.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
was it
The
out
witch
of
is not my mother.
was it out of fear?
Ooh.
I honestly
yeah.
think that
Fear
that's
leads
just
to
what...
anger,
100%.
and anger leads to hate.
And hate
And
leads to something that's
But he's
maybe trademark of another franchise.
he's also been raised like this for centuries and had it beaten into his head by his dad, who was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're not ruling this planet right. Here, let me explode that for you."
right.
So
Yeah.
Major daddy issues.
Yeah.
Well, and we also see that, you know, there's some issues in terms of his mom as well, because Allura suggests that Haggar might actually be
Oh,
Minerva,
yeah.
and he freaks out.
I think he protested too much.
Oh yeah.
he's so
I mean,
far in. He's so far
in denial, but I think he knows.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's got real estate in Egypt.
Yeah.
He's so far in denial.
Wow.
Have you never heard that?
I've heard it.
I've heard it,
Wow.
but I appreciate it when
Yeah,
it makes
you,
its rounds.
You did it. You did
Yes.
I was gonna say that's not new.
Don't encourage her.
Encourage me.
I always encourage puns. Come on.
it.
Look at that. My whole life is a pun.
Space Dad. It's gonna be dad jokes. Come on.
It's a dad. Yeah.
What time is it?
Showtime.
Pun 41. No, 840. No. 840 pun. There we go.
Technically,
That's
that
my
clock's
fault. I
fast.
Messed
set
it
that
up.
up. That was my bad.
No, you
That
I'll
clock
take
is
that. I'll take
fast.
that L.
All
It's
right.
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's okay, we'll get through this.
We were talking about Lotor?
Yeah, we're super worried about Lotor.
I do love that this that they're going through essentially Haggar's storage container. I just love the idea of members of the Galra Empire like scouring the universe for all of this ancient Altean mystical artifacts, and they essentially just end up in Haggar's garage.
Right. Exactly.
This is her storage
her
unit that
attic.
she's paying for.
yeah.
Looking in her medicine cabinet, seeing what she's got going on in there.
It really is her walk-in closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the dresses, here's the shoes, here's the
all the
ancient Altean
potions,
artifacts.
here's the- Yeah.
We've never seen Haggar's shoes. What kind of shoes
No,
does
I don't
Haggar
know.
wear?
Yeah.
None.
I was gonna say I was like either barefoot or flat.
I know.
Flats,
I'm
for
trying to
sure.
think. I'm like, did we see her feet when she was Minerva at all? I don't think so.
No, I think she
Maybe.
was, no, I think she was wearing because she was
Probably
mostly in like
space
a,
like a
boots.
spacesuit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was in
Yeah.
a spacesuit, so it looked like boots.
Well, when
We
they
did
showed
see
those
her-
ancient Alteans, the statues of them, they were all barefoot. I noticed that. So
Ah.
There you go.
maybe, who knows?
We did
She's
see her.
ancient, so.
We did
see her wearing
That is
flip-flops.
accurate.
Everyone in the chat is saying, "What are those?"
I can see her wearing flip-flops. Yeah.
Maybe that's why she's so angry all the time.
Yeah, her feet.
Whenever I
hurt.
put on flip-flops, I get mad. Catch on everything. Like, oh.
Stuff
They
your
break
toes.
so easy.
Yeah, yeah. I
They
hate
seem
it.
like such a good idea because you're like, I can just slide these on and then 5 minutes into wearing them
you're
outside
like,
in LA.
they-
But I mean, the
not
requisite for
no
wearing the shoe.
traction.
The requisite for wearing the shoe is toe jam. You got right there in the middle.
And not to mention the dirty feet. I can't stand
Yeah.
dirty flip-flop feet. It's gross. It's gross. I love your shoes. Wow.
Oh, thank you. My silver
Those are
shoes.
Yeah, those are nice.
Those are fancy.
Ooh.
Not flip-flops.
They're not on camera. Kick up your leggy.
Can you see my Those are awesome.
That is, yeah.
You're like a rockette.
Right.
Now point the toes.
If we're sticking with the Black Panther jokes, maybe she's wearing sneakers.
Oh.
Oh, what? No, I didn't mean to.
We're done.
I was making a reference.
That's
I'm
it.
sorry. We got this.
That's
Well,
the
guys,
final
that's our
straw.
show. No, I'm just kidding. No, but
fine.
I just kind of
Can't believe we've done this.
going back to that whole scene with Allura and Lotor going through at the Haggar's walk-in closet, I thought it was really interesting that this was when we see Allura really open up to somebody about her self-doubt. It was so
Yeah.
interesting to me that it was Lotor. I mean, I think that it was motivated, of course, partially by the fact that he is
Altean
Altean,
Martin.
exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
But also the fact that, you know, their fathers were friends and allies
And he
once.
made some good points. He's a good salesman. I mean, if you think
Yeah, I
about
was gonna
it,
say.
he
Yeah.
made some really good points that he knew would resonate with her.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
once
yeah.
the markings came, forget it. She was
Yeah.
like,
Done.
she's
feel
longing
like
for that.
I feel like the fact that he keeps leaning on our fathers did this, our fathers did that,
Yeah.
that efficacy's going to wear off eventually.
Yeah. I mean, especially if he screws up or does something, you know what I mean? That's going to wear thin, I think.
But like
looking for
it's very, very telling that one of the first things he says in Bloodlines is like, we're gonna figure out how to get unlimited quintessence, and Allura, you're the key.
Yeah.
You're literally the most important person in the universe. Like
Wow.
And that was my tipping point of like, something's up.
But I know, I'm
doing?
super worried.
Something's
But
up.
I did also like that initially when she was confronted with that I found it to be very realistic that she wasn't immediately like, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Where's that quintessence?
go team.
She's been through too much
Yeah.
and faced too much destruction and failure to immediately be like, yeah, we're going to do this. Like,
She's
Yeah.
just so realistic to me as a leader who's being forced to make all of these very difficult decisions, especially given the fact that in a lot of this season, you know, again, Shiro is just sort of
Question
Haggar's
mark.
baby monitor.
Well, I mean,
so-
she has gotten kind of played for a sap in
Oh,
the.
she has.
Oh, yes.
in, what was it? The episode with Sven, where
Yeah.
she sees
Oh,
the
yeah.
other
Oh,
Alteans,
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and,
Oh, yeah.
and she's like, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and doesn't get for a second that they're actually enslaving these people.
Yes.
Right.
And you know, halfway through the episode, finally, you know, Allura realizes.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's probably why she wasn't really. Well, I don't know. I mean, I remember from the first episode in this. Was it the first episode in this season where Lotor's actually talking like outside of the
in the
jail cell?
Oh,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
She's just
Yeah,
staring
first
up at him.
Yeah.
Just staring up at him.
Yeah.
Listen, hanging on every word.
Lotor under glass.
I do like that they're continuing this through line of her internalizing her father's legacy, because something that really you could tell it bothered her in previous seasons was her inability to pilot the Red Lion.
Yeah.
And that was something she felt not necessarily owed to,
I don't know.
but
I'm very happy right now.
Yeah.
This is violating
and
the
then
blue line.
in this episode, it's this self-doubt of like, what if I don't have the same abilities that my father
Right.
had? Maybe I'm not the key to all of this.
Yeah, but I also like the fact that it's not like a complete replica for her. I want her to have something different. I think that would be
yeah.
greater for her character to do that. But I agree with you that it hurts to watch it, but at the same time I'm like, oh, you're gonna do such great things at the same time. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think so much of the responsibility falls on her shoulders as far as like she does a lot of the heavy lifting, and she has failed and she doesn't want to fail. So yeah, there's always that a little bit of that doubt when it's something new and huge like this. I mean, she didn't even know this place existed. I mean, Orion was like, you know,
El Dorado.
yeah, exactly.
It's a fairy tale.
It's a fairy tale, and none of this is real. So to have that discovery, and I think the thing is, the self-doubt is kind of just like, I think it's like a venting thing. I think deep down inside she knows she can do all this stuff.
Yeah,
I really do.
Absolutely.
I
agree with that.
Well, and I think that that's just really affirmed in that, scene where the lion attacks her and she says, I'm not here to learn how to fight or destroy people. I seek the secret to life, and for that I would give my own.
Right.
And then she's in sort of like
The void.
Yeah.
and she's like, I want this power, and they're like, yeah, the answer's already inside of you.
Right.
We're just going to
Exactly.
hardwire it into your brain. Have fun now.
Yeah.
No, it was
Just trust
always
it.
it was always
there.
in
It was
her.
all like,
It's
more like
inside
kind
of
of
you.
open the floodgates for her.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I got chills rewatching it today.
Were they
me
were they
too.
multiplying?
They were.
It is
But
electrifying.
rewatching that, the sheer amount of times they said, oh, yes, they were the life givers. They were the life givers. They were all right, context clues. She's good at this. Lotor's going to murder a man.
To be fair, they
Killed a man.
I kind of felt like a lot of the security in this facility was unnecessary. One, most of the Alteans are gone. Two, you need to be chosen in order to get past the first lion. You need the hull pass to get past the stone guardians. You need to be able to access the panel to keep from being crushed. And then you have to fight?
a lot.
Question the what?
Well,
not
I mean,
A lot going on.
But
cats
still
are real
Lotor got that
temperamental.
far.
Like cats don't want to be bothered.
Yeah,
And
that's
if they
true.
if they
That's
leave the whole mess of ships all around, then
All
cats
the
just gonna be
lands.
chilling.
That's
Well,
true.
the
That's
chosen thing seems almost to be genetic. Like it's a genetic Altean lottery, so that's...
Yeah, because Karan doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor man.
He was
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like any of the Altans in the other reality had it either.
And I like how they just sort of explained it.
Well-
Like, they don't all get it.
I'm sorry, you're just not special enough.
There's a reason
Yeah,
why you're not
that's right.
chosen few.
You're just not making the cut.
Sorry, everyone else gets glowy anime blush, but not
Not
you.
you.
Still Karan the Corpse
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
though.
that's
He is.
Listen,
He's the only one with that title.
Maybe that's
And that
why he has that
mustache.
complex about being gorgeous, because he doesn't have the
Have
marks.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he's
compensate.
insisting that he's.
majestic mustache.
That
Nobody has
majestic
that.
mustache.
But he is a gorgeous.
He is. He is a very
Yeah,
gorgeous man.
absolutely.
Reese Darby is a gift.
Yes.
Just the world.
really is.
So hilarious.
But I mean, I think you're right that it's something that you inherit from your parents. It's in your bloodline. Allura clearly inherited it from her dad. Lotor inherited it from his mom, and then we see
Zarkon,
Well, and
obviously.
I mean, we see another character this season who's clearly inherited some things from his parent, who's been missing, namely a pointy chin and a space mullet.
Yes, let's talk about other space mom.
She's beautiful.
Is.
This episode had me in all kinds of feels. I loved this
I've got a friend who's
episode.
put together a cosplay of her, and it includes a baby born with
Yes.
with a little
That
Keith baby doll
That's
holding a knife.
amazing.
Fantastic.
Oh my god.
It's amazing.
I love it.
Oh,
It's
God.
she might be wearing it at WonderCon, so keep an eye
Look
out.
It's
for
so
her.
great.
I will
That's
search.
brilliant.
Oh man.
I will hook you guys up on Twitter. But
It's
yeah,
fantastic.
no,
There
it's,
were
it's
just
beautiful.
So many great women characters
Oh my
introduced
gosh.
this season.
Especially.
yeah.
Even in this episode, there are two Galra generals
Yeah.
who are just
Yeah.
both awesome and so hardcore. And then we have Crolia, and that's not even getting to all of the Allura and Pidge stuff.
That's
It's just
another.
fantastic.
That's another example of I didn't meet these actors because they recorded at a different time.
Right, yeah.
I read it in the script. It didn't specify male or female. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think it did either.
And so until I saw it, I don't think I knew that it was going to be those two generals were going to be women. So that was an awesome surprise for me. Anyway, I thought that was, like you said, it's just a lot of like female.
Well, and
girl power.
across the board, there's
Yeah.
a lot of times in this show, particularly in these more recent seasons, where you do have these characters that there's nothing saying that they're male or female,
Right.
and they have
Yeah.
made the choice for them to be women, which
Exactly.
has been
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and these two generals had been introduced before throughout the season and throughout the series, actually. And
Yes, they
so
were
it's-
main contenders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's so awesome.
Fleets of their own.
Yeah.
So this was fun and terrible to watch. Just like this giant destructive
Right.
fight was great.
But I have to
so much
say
fighting.
about Crowlia is as soon as they introduced the idea of this character and they're like, yeah, Keith, we got this super great spy inside operative, I was like, it's gonna be his damn mom.
And a sister or a mom. It has to be one.
It's gonna be a blood relative.
You know, and then as soon as like that picture showed up, I'm like, it looks like Keith.
Yeah.
But he didn't get it.
I have no idea.
I was like, wow.
I have to wonder how much
Yeah.
how much his superior knew, because he made a point of being like, "Hey, you can't make emotional decisions." On a completely unrelated note, here's your next mission.
What I love is that he said that
Good point.
when last episode Keith made emotional decisions
Yes.
and nearly tanked
what
a
he was
mission.
doing.
Or maybe he didn't know, and he's had the same trouble with Crowlia, and he's like,
Yeah.
another one of
He's
these.
too
All right, I'm putting
emotional.
these two together. Just go. Do your
I
mission.
think you're related.
They're both so
But
emotional.
I think that you bring up a good point, Josh, that there is a possibility that he didn't necessarily know, because I can't remember if it was specified or not in the episode. I
Nope.
just watched it.
Yeah.
I clearly paid attention. But it's true though that she is clearly somebody that is making emotional decisions, because there's the whole thing of turn over the weapon in exchange for Keith, and she's like, well, okay.
I left you once, I'm
Yeah.
not going to leave you. Though she
Yeah.
also knew that the weapon was a giant murder monster. So, you know.
I was gonna say one
big
could
deal.
argue that she made the absolute best play that
I
she
agree.
could given the situation, but yeah, it was an emotional decision.
Right, even though it was a very intelligent, and again, she knew more information
She had, yeah.
than the other people in question, and, Keith gets mad at her, and she's like, just trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was Batmaning it.
Yeah, she was.
Don't talk back to your
To your
mom.
mother, yeah.
It's a very Batman thing to do. Of like, I didn't kill you directly.
Because it reminded me of like Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, when like Batman knows all the information, but he just chooses not to tell anybody and then
Yeah.
just lets things work out.
But I love that it
work themselves
literally
out.
took her giving Keith his knife back for him to get that it was his mom.
Right.
He did see her deactivate it, and that's when he picked up on it.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a
But-
minute.
She said to him.
Did you make this thing?
After she already said to him, I left you once, I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
Like,
She's
that's
just, like,
not what
stretching.
I
Maybe he thought that she was the one that was doing the bombs in the Cralzera.
There you go. There you go.
Did I see her face?
I thought that was the other girl. Maybe I was wrong.
Did you make the knife? That's not the only thing here I made.
And I love the callback with "Shut Up and Trust Me."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Love that.
That
Like,
was
it's a good
great.
thing
Now,
you're
an
cute.
interesting point
was
is
like,
that
"Aw."
she's with that basically doing the same thing that Shiro did this whole season.
Yeah.
And just because
She
Shiro yells at
abandoned her
Lance,
family.
everybody gets mad at Shiro, but
Yeah.
nobody gets mad at.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Not the same.
Well, and it is very much like mother like son, because she abandoned her family to try to do what was right, and that's exactly what Keith did with Voltron.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's kind of what everybody
from
does
the
in
tree.
this show.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody. When they make the decision, when Pidge and the rest of the Paladins make the decision,
yeah.
we're not going home.
Yeah.
They're pretty much leaving their families behind to
it's true.
Yeah.
save
Big
the universe.
sacrifice.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the cool kids are saving.
I
the
know.
universe.
Everyone's leaving their families and saving the universe. Come do it.
Speaking of leaving your family and saving the universe, Sam kind of didn't last very long in these episodes.
know.
It was hello, goodbye.
Yeah.
Well, listen, he has to go home and tell Earth that there might be an alien invasion real soon.
Yeah.
So,
By the
Provided
way,
they don't
don't
immediately
panic.
imprison him.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope not.
I'm still
Hopefully they
thinking
gave
that
him like an Altean weapon or something in case they try to strap him
case
down to the table.
the
Yeah.
Garrison turns on him for sure. I'm still thinking that like his wife is probably in the middle of constructing a spaceship in her
Yeah.
backyard. All her children are gone, and her husband's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
She
like, I'm
found
going to
like
space.
his, I don't know, his designs and all that stuff. And she's putting it together.
I'm sure she's savvy because didn't they talk about the fact that
Yeah. What is
he
she?
got into modulating arguments?
Oh,
with
that's
her?
that's how your mother and I met.
Yeah. she's definitely savvy.
Okay.
watched that
Ooh,
show.
I wonder. That's
I would watch
I would have watched that show.
that's
That's a How I Met Your Mother I should have watched.
that's a spinoff right there. There's a spinoff. There's our spinoff.
But I'm also worried about the Garrison now that he's going to be coming back to tell them everything. I'm also worried about that because I feel like the Garrison will be like, really? And then just kind of get into it. You know?
I don't trust the Garrison.
Yeah, neither do
No, not even remotely.
They seem a little shady.
Oh, absolutely.
I. Yeah, completely.
I love how everyone's sneaking glances over at us to see if,
See
like,
if
if we can confirm or deny with a look.
The
or-
We know you can't. So
For sure.
I actually try to. I give positive looks for like the most outlandish stuff.
Yeah,
and,
I'm like,
you know,
oh,
discouraging looks for the stuff that's probably true.
I feel really
Or
bad.
do I?
Because the first time we had you on the show, you're like, I see you guys. Like, you're not getting anything out of me.
It's so true.
It's hard, yeah. It's hard to like. Good thing I have a really bad memory. That helps me in situations like this. But yeah, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
Didn't we have somebody
She's coming back.
go to the astral plane? or something?
Lion disappeared.
Oh no!
Just like the show.
Oh no!
Wait,
coming right back.
Are we recapping? Black Lion's missing.
Listen to me.
Yeah, I know when the Black Lion was missing, and Allura's like, "Where's Shiro? Where's Lotor?" Like she knew
Yeah.
Immediately.
instantly.
Yeah.
There was some shenanigans going on.
Speaking of also Batmaning. Where's Rachel?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, so yeah, talking about how it is difficult to remember, like, because it's such a long period of time between when you guys record and when it actually gets finished
yeah.
animating and then released on Netflix.
Oh yeah, and then we the process was generally recording new episodes. Something just dropped, and then we're doing ADR for the next season, and then we're like,
Right.
and you just can't keep it straight, and you're not recording in order, and you're so it's.
Yep.
It is still like a surprise when we get to sit down and watch the season like everybody else. It's really cool.
And see it all come together.
Yeah.
And then the episodes that we're not in, we usually don't get scripts for those.
Yeah.
So if we're
So
not
we're
in an
just like-
episode, the first time we see it is when we are watching it on Netflix
Exactly.
with everybody else.
Well, and talking about stuff that's in the script, that like being surprised when it comes out, I was really surprised actually seeing the so-called secret weapon that they were keeping in this facility. It was a sentient being
I
that
know.
Yeah.
probably tore these Galra soldiers to pieces.
I
Ugh.
know.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Now, they were talking about how quintessence was used to experiment on this
Yes.
thing. Was that quintessence specifically from the Rift? Because they were talking about how it had some weird, strange
That's
effects.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I was assuming so.
Might be quintessence. It's never been seen on the show yet.
That, It could be quintessence from another dimension.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking since they were trying to dimension hop anyway.
I mean, this is the thing, though, is that with Voltron itself and all of the lions, and the fact that, in terms of the sort of Altean magic is referred to as alchemy, so there is a level of science involved in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sort of, there's almost exemplified in Allura being like, I would give my life to learn the secrets of life, and that's basically that concept of equal exchange.
I was like, the little alchemist thing.
Yeah. So that's the thing, though, is the lions were created by some sort of semi-magical process, and they are also sentient. So
Yeah.
it's not that surprising in a way. It feels like they were doing quintessence experiments along with whatever sort of regular Galra science-y stuff they were doing to create this weapon, and that's how they ended up with this weapon that was questionable whether or not they could actually control it.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't look like
Well, it's
it.
like I guess it'd be akin to a robeast.
Yeah. And that's a question too, is because we haven't really seen any Robeast this season. They make a point of like launching a Robeast coffin, like an empty Robeast coffin into space.
Oh, it's
yeah.
Fun Century. Let's pour one out for Fun Century.
Fun Bob. Wait, what did you call him?
I call him Funson.
Funson.
Because he's the Fun Century, but also when they shoot him off, it's like a Funson burner.
Okay.
It's Funson.
There's always one episode every season where it's just like for last season I think it was the Voltron show, and then the season before that it was Space Ball. There's always one episode each
Space
season
Ball.
where it's just a ton of fun, and this Fun Bot was that for me this season.
I know, like
Yeah.
Funbot is.
You're back! Black Paladin came back!
Wait,
I had to
make
go
sure she's
initiate
real.
stage 5 of Project Quran.
She might be a clone though.
She's probably a
Yeah,
clone.
who are you?
Probably might be. She's FaceTiming right now with Haggar. It's okay.
Okay, wait, what was that? Yeah, all right. So I've received my new orders. And
Katie Cullen.
Oh, good one. Good
We were
one.
talking about
Nice.
Funbot.
Yeah, we were just talking about Fun Bot. and the
did
mini
I miss the
Robies.
good
No, we
times?
just started. We just
Yeah,
started.
it just started.
So can we anytime there's a plot line about a robot learning about the concept of fun,
Yeah,
this
I
is
love
something
that.
that warms my heart.
Especially
but
if
did
He
he
Pigeon's
seems like he
involved.
already knew a little bit about it. Like as soon as they program him, and he's like firecrackers. Yeah.
He wanted to be programmed.
Yeah.
That way.
He's been waiting.
Did
Yeah.
he learn to love?
I think
That's what
he
I wanna
learned to
know.
love himself.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
this is true.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Well,
one.
because don't you have to love to have friends? Like I think.
Yeah.
I mean, even calling them dum-dums, that's
Yeah.
still, it was still an
It's still
endearing
about
dum-dum.
endearment, yeah.
So
Yeah,
This is true.
And when things went too far, he made sure to make a point to be like, "Hey, no hard feelings, everybody.
Yeah.
We're all having fun here."
and he was
I
the one
made
that
you-
warned everybody to scram. Like,
I made you necklaces of my face.
I can't think of
that's
a
how I
greater
show
gift.
affection. I feel like that's kind of a terrifying sociopath thing to do in real life. Hi, here's a necklace of my face.
I give you the gift of
After
me.
he busted Lance's face up in their crazy chicken fight.
I don't know how he thought he was gonna win. That's against metal.
It's on a whole different level. We've talked about this.
This
so-
is true.
now I
like,
kind of
it's a
feel
robot, I can
sad
take
for all the other sentries that die in this show because they can all have fun.
They all have
They
the
could've-
capacity for fun.
It's in them.
Yeah.
Inside of them. Just like. Yeah.
But they just need, and credit to Yin and Yang in the chat for reminding me of this, Team Punk to tap into their
Yeah.
Yes,
potential.
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
What a great name.
And my notes just say, "Cheese it, it's the feds." Those two poor guards chasing them around.
They
everywhere.
had fun.
They did have fun.
They were having a good time.
Popsicles,
Yeah.
Like, it was great.
They shed tears.
They did.
when
love that.
Funson was launched into space.
Like even if, I mean, you could see that even though they weren't programmed by Team Punk, they still learned something.
Yeah.
I'm
was-
waiting for the rest of them to join in
The
after that.
Galra Empire can change, guys.
That would be the place to put the big musical number with all the sentries suddenly
Oh my
turning
God.
into like the
Yes.
Rockettes. And,
I want
that'd
it.
be-
Oh my god.
Be amazing.
Yeah, so we're on like the brig. Just like
They just start doing the can-can. I want it.
Or like a Scooby-Doo montage.
Yes.
This might be.
Yep.
Yeah.
we
That
kind
would
of got
work.
that a little bit in this episode. Just a
Yeah,
tiny
there
bit.
was a little bit of that montage.
I also have to say that the music that they used to score all of the scenes with Funson was so
That was
good.
I love how it's a thing now.
But it also, because you did have this more, sort of serious plot line of Allura and Lotor talking about Altean alchemy and Allura dealing with her self-doubt. It effectively created the illusion of continual motion every single time you went back to the storyline
Right.
of the other paladins screwing around. So it was great.
Yeah.
And I love that it
Really.
wasn't like super jarring either. Like,
No,
it was
no, no,
enough
no.
to like balance through.
Yeah, it was like
kind
a
of
fun video game score.
It was. It was nice.
We have Ben in chat on Twitter saying, "Shiro, well, time for a nap." Wakes up to see Funbot get launched.
How long have I been asleep?
Did the Roby's coffin just explode?
Is that a rainbow?
My favorite detail from this montage is when they were doing the photos. That second one had Hunk in Zarkon's helmet and cape, and everyone else in druid getup, which is fun and also creepy because all those people are dead now.
Oh yeah, that's true. Ooh, I didn't
I
think
think
of
you
it
took
that
LARP
way.
a little
Oh, yeah.
too seriously there.
Woo!
I'm here to ruin your fun.
That went dark.
Every time.
I live
Now
there.
you know how I feel.
I appreciated how somebody asked, like, "Oh, do you think Lotor is gonna get mad if we launch this into space?" And Paige's response was,
What's he gonna use it for?
Right, exactly.
They're millions of these. It'll be fine.
They're gonna make
even
Zarkon a
notice.
row beast, and they won't even have a coffin to launch him in. It's okay. We put him in a different
"They're
coffin.
just gonna have to jettison him just directly into space."
At this point, he kind of is a coffin.
That was the joke.
Oh, there you go. And it just went right over my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only other thing to touch on is that the Haggar's squad, they don't quite
Haggar
know.
squad.
They don't quite know
The
what to
Galra
do.
Empire.
Yeah,
yet.
they're like,
it's really
what do
funny
we
to hear,
do?
like, Haggar squad.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of like
The
what a guy.
GGs.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of interesting though because Aksha has kind of fallen back on we wait for our orders,
Yes.
whereas the other two are a little bit more ambitious. It looks like it's
What
like,
if
hey,
we
we
just
can take
It's kinda
advantage
going
of all
around.
this.
Yeah,
They're,
I
like,
was gonna say,
antsy.
I don't know if it's so much ambitious as it is they're not good at being idle.
That's
Yeah.
probably it. Yeah.
Well, she
'Cause
says
it-
you want to go what did she say? You want to go
Throw
throw
stuff
stuff
at
at the room?
I feel like
yeah, I thought
getting
you never
things
asked.
thrown at you by those women is a good way to die.
Yeah, I know. It's painful. It's not like a friendly food
Because
fight.
even when they brought up the idea of, oh, do you want us to try to take over the galaxy ourselves? They were like,
Yeah, they're not ambitious.
yeah.
I think it is idle talk because even as the conversation is sort of building up to that point, you see the two other crew members kind of look at each other when they're starting to get antsy. They're like, oh, they're gonna start throwing stuff at us.
Yeah. Whose turn is it to run?
Watch out.
Who's here to play bait?
Yep.
Exactly.
And then we end that with Haggar coming to them and saying, "Yeah, we're going to El Dorado, guys.
yeah.
Road trip."
Real trip.
Road trip! Heck yes!
I don't think Haggar has a hall pass.
Not anymore.
I don't know.
Not anymore.
Oh.
They stole her home back.
She's dead-ish. So,
What is dead may never die.
Undead. Yeah.
Rises again stronger.
Yes. I don't know.
I don't know.
Does she have marks? Have we seen her with marks?
She has marks on her cheeks for sure.
But
The
we
glowing
don't know.
ones?
We don't know if
we
they
don't
glow.
know
Wait,
for
like
sure.
contour
yeah.
marks? Like,
I
Yeah,
think
they're
it's,
red now.
it's probably a fair assumption since Lotor is technically is a chosen one, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
would make sense if he inherited that from his mom.
I mean,
So-
Yeah, you have
We'll
to
see.
wonder
I mean, have
if
to.
being undead walking into a city of life is gonna be interesting, or if she'll just be able to waltz past all of the.
Well, I mean, if you're alive when you're dead, that's kind of like ultimate life.
Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe she's just all
Yeah.
that right now.
I don't
Or
think anyone gets
the
a free
city-
pass in there.
Or the city
That's
will
a
try
fair
to
point.
bring her back to life again.
Or it'll just flood all those memories like completely because we remember how she was slowly trying to remember everything. Maybe
Yeah.
it'll just like
Yeah.
But
completely
she always
fry her
seems to
brain.
come up with the power she needs to get what she
True.
wants. So
And
who
also
knows?
she's very resourceful and smart, so maybe she can just figure out a way to kind of go past everything.
She's had
on her own.
10,000
she's
years to learn.
been
Yeah.
there.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So,
I don't
Yeah.
know, man. She's like a Swiss Army knife. I feel
Yeah.
like. She has everything to her arsenal. She'll figure
I
it out.
love the fact that when she went to go take out like the ones that were gonna take her out,
Mm-hmm.
that it wasn't with like magic or anything. Like she straight up got in the outfit
Yeah,
and like
like,
cut him
no,
down. I was like, what?
Ninja.
Haggar's
let's
like
do
that
this.
badass.
It's like, okay, I haven't
I
done
thought it
this
was
in a
all just
while.
like
yeah,
magic
she's like
and
cracking.
stuff.
She's taking her rings
Yeah,
off.
she's
her
out
earrings.
of the earrings
Yeah,
and everything.
she's-
She's like, okay, here we go.
You want to go?
Well,
You want to go?
Well, you
at
were
me,
plotting
come
my
at me.
demise.
Cash-
I was
cash me
studying the sword.
How about that?
Think about Haggar saying casting outside just makes me so happy. So,
Oh yeah. That'd
I
be
feel
fun.
like that's something we could get Cree Summer.
Oh,
to
she
do.
would do it. She would do
She
it.
would.
She would
Oh,
I just
absolutely
want
do
a
it.
Jerry Springer episode.
You
The
are
Voltron-
the mother. She is not my mother.
Another young Maury all over the place.
The Voltron Jerry
Fraternity
Springer
test.
crossover.
Oh my god.
That is
That's our next comedy episode.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Sketch waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Cosplay sketches. Anyway, we're hitting the end of our time, you guys. Do we have
Are
final
you
thoughts on this
serious?
season?
Yeah.
I just hope that
fast.
I'm curious to see if at the beginning of next season we jump right back in with, okay, we literally just left El Dorado and boom, here's Haggar.
I want to see it cut back to Keith going, Mom?
Wait, you're my mom, right?
I have a mom?
Also put her on the morning puppet couch.
Most people do.
Wait, how old was Keith when she left?
Probably
He was-
tiny. I
was
don't think he
probably a
knew
baby.
her.
I
Yeah.
would assume so.
So he doesn't know her at all.
I think
all.
so.
He didn't
yeah.
know he was Galra, so
That's true.
Yeah, I guess that's
He doesn't know a lot.
Yeah.
you know nothing, Jon Snow.
I do love people coming up with like, how did Corellia and Keith's dad meet?
I
And
know.
like those cute little meet cute stories.
Yeah.
Just crash landed on Earth. I don't know. I do want to see your meet cute stories though, because I got nothing.
Because multiverse rules, it's all canon somewhere.
yeah.
True.
Ah, that's true.
True
All
that.
right, we are gonna skip on predictions because we have the next season coming on June 15th,
Yeah.
which I
Yay.
didn't know when we did our first episode. Because once again, Chromecast has decided that previews aren't important. So for now, if you would not mind taking a look at the iTunes, I am going to turn to our lovely guests and ask if they have.
Alexis in
No,
the
it's okay.
arm.
I got another arm. It's cool.
What are you guys?
Robotic.
And
I got
Do you
Grace.
have any projects that you're working on that you can tell us about?
Oh, you
That we
go
can
first.
talk
What can
about?
we talk about?
Yeah, I know.
I-
NDA fun, right?
Yeah, a lot of NDA stuff. As far as stuff that's out right now, I'm also on Netflix with Stretch Armstrong. I
Ooh.
play a douchey dude named Gabe Bannerman.
Oh, that's a great name.
He's
Great
he's
name.
awful.
Betterman.
He's awful, but he's like the kind of guy that you love to hate him. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. In terms of everything else is pretty NDA'd out.
Oh my
so
God, I know.
I can't talk about much.
I
I know there's a Justice League action episode that had Green Lantern in it, and
Nice.
and it's a definite callback to the show, same writers, and so that's a fun one. So if you are a Green Lantern, the animated series fan, check out the new Justice League action.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have 2 awesome things that I wish I could say, but I can't. But I will hopefully very soon. Working on DC Superhero Girls.
Nice.
So that's going to be fun. I think that's all I can say. Secrets.
We're going to
Stuff.
be doing a
things,
bunch of
things and
cons
stuff.
Oh, that's
this year.
true.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're going to be at Dallas Fan Expo.
Dallas Fan Expo with
2
Jeremy.
weeks. And Jeremy is going to
with
be
the
there.
2 of us and Jeremy.
Anybody in Dallas, come check us out.
There's
it'll
also
be a
going to be
party.
some other ones that we're going to be doing with Bex as well. So
yeah.
just I mean, check our social medias. We'll be posting
Yeah.
well in advance of whenever we're going to be going to a con. So
Definitely.
yeah, we'd love to meet the fans and come
That's the
come
best
chat with us,
part.
hang out with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to
Alright.
it.
Do we have
Thank
anything
you.
new on the iTunes?
Okay, I have a shout out to Gabby Corncats who left us a review that came in on Saturday. The way the app is now it's not very helpful in terms of how it shows
For
the
shame.
reviews.
The newest,
For shame,
the newest
Matt.
ones are all
Shame.
the way at the bottom.
Yeah. Thank you guys. You are great. That's the only one I see that would have been new.
Yeah.
Well, we love you too.
If you guys like this show, if you would like this show to stay on the air, best thing you can do, go to iTunes, find us on there, rate, comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. Leave us comments, and we will read them on air and give you a shout out because we adore you all. So yeah, if you would like to support us as a show, that is the best way to do it. Thanks again for coming on, you guys.
Thank you for
It's been
having
a
us.
blast.
So much fun.
Thank all of you for sticking with us through the season, and we should be back for next season.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
monitor our social medias, and we will let you know.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys
Speaking
better
of
be back
social
for next
medias,
season.
You gotta be
Yeah,
back.
you have to be.
Can't leave on that cliffhanger.
I mean,
Well-
I make no guarantees, but we do our best.
Okay.
Emma, where can the people find you?
You can find me all over the internet at my name, Emma Fyffe, EMMAFYFFE.
Alexis.
You guys can find me all over social media at ATorres890. That's ATORRES890. Also, check out, I did an episode on Collider, which I was not expecting. So. Yeah, I was on Heroes.
It's a
guys
fun
should check it out.
show.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Woo! I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I want to thank the Something Something guys for their fun little Photoshop that they did in the hashtag.
Little something.
All right.
They photoshopped
A lot of something,
they
something. These
photoshopped
guys.
Shiro's arm onto Katie.
Nice. Nice.
That's great.
I love it.
And I'm a clone. You can find me all over.
Not so much to just come out and say it.
I wish she did.
At least you admit it.
Yeah.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on Twitch and YouTube at Kiaxet. That is KIAXET. Josh, where can the people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Josh Keaton. I'm on Instagram as Space Padre. And then you can check me out on my YouTube channel, which is Josh Keaton. I've just now started posting stuff more regularly. I got that Shiro/Moana crossover song that I put up and that
Awesome.
Kimberly was in.
Yes,
And,
I loved it.
and yeah, so just check that stuff out and I'll keep on posting.
And I'm at Kimberly D. Brooks on the Twitters and Kimberly Brooks 11 on Instagram. Yes, I remembered. I'm so proud of myself. And that's as far as I go.
And you guys have your upcoming con schedule on your social media?
Yes.
Yes, and I still have a website. It's joshkeaton.com, and that will actually always have an updated con schedule.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice.
Well, thanks again for coming in, you guys. It's been a blast.
Thank
Likewise.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank all of you lovely humans for coming on again.
Yeah, you know.
And thank you.
down the street.
I know.
Well, yeah.
Lucky you.
And thank you guys so much for watching and for joining us again this season. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Later, Paladins.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.